Very often, we receive the question, what is leader-led movements and what do you do in leader-led movements? Leader-led movements can be summarized in one simple phrase. We help influential leaders live out their calling through mission-focused communities. Now let's unpack that a little bit. So what do we mean by influential leaders? If you think of society, you can draw society as a triangle. If this is everyone in society, there is a group of people at the top of the triangle. These are positional leaders. These are people who lead by position through authority, and they lead down. Now, these are important people and people we want to reach. But in LLM, we are reaching not just this group of people, but the leaders at every strata of society that go from the top to the bottom. Leaders can be found everywhere in society, and they often are about 10% of the population. These people lead across. They lead through influence. They are the influentials who shape society. This 10% tells the other 90% what's important, what's valuable, and shapes their action. These are the leaders that leader-led movements desires to work with, the influential leaders who work at all levels of society. Now, while all people are important to God, we focus on those who have influence so that all can be reached. So as we desire to help these influential leaders, we do that in the context of the city. Cities are the centers of culture and influence, where leaders determine and define values and norms. Because in LLM we desire that our efforts be strategic, we focus on cities in the pursuit of making Christ known. Now if we think of the city can be divided into 7 different domains that make up the different parts of the city. These 7 domains are religion, education, family, the marketplace, media, arts and entertainment, and government. And in each of these domains, at the base of them all, you can find influential leaders. And we believe that God is already actively at work in the lives of these influential leaders throughout the city. Some of them don't know Jesus yet, and we hope to reach them with the gospel. Others who already know him, we desire to engage and help them live out their calling, which highlights the next aspect of what we do. In LLM, we believe God cares about our whole life. He equally values every aspect of our life, and our faith should speak into all that we do, resulting in a coherent life. In LLM, we believe every one of us is called by God for a purpose, and we desire to help these leaders determine what is their calling that God has specifically created and called them to live out. Not what our plan or purpose is for their lives, but what is God's purpose for their life. And once they determine their calling and have learned the power to live out that calling, we desire them to see them live that out in mission-focused communities. In LLM, we believe God created us to live and work in community. These mission-focused communities are groups of people with similar passions and callings. They see different problems in society, and their faith motivates them to do something about it. We then want to see these mission-focused communities become spiritual movements, where people are boldly proclaiming Jesus. Life-changing discipleship is happening, where leaders are being multiplied, where there's a generation of self-sustaining local resources. As people live out their calling and address the issues in society that the Lord's put on their heart, that they're actively taking the steps to see these mission-focused communities also become spiritual movements. We believe then that these spiritual movements will begin to radiate out throughout the whole city, that we'll begin to see results that are visible, that as these leaders live out their calling, that we'll be able to expect and measure Christ-centered change in individuals, institutions, society, that the whole city will not be the same, and as a result, the world will not be the same. So what is it that Campus Pacific Christ staff do in all of this? We don't transform the city. We're not the ones launching these mission-focused communities that become spiritual movements. What we do is we work with influential leaders. This is where our faith actions take place. This is where we reach these influential leaders in each domain of society with the gospel, providing them with basic discipleship and helping them to be the light within their sphere of influence. This is also where we engage influential leaders with a challenge to live a coherent life as a kingdom leader, where faith shapes and informs all aspects of their life in the power of the Holy Spirit for God's kingdom on earth. It's also where we equip kingdom leaders with a holistic biblical worldview so that they will look beyond themselves to steward the specific call God has for them in his kingdom. Something in the world will be different because of this leader. That's what we do. Now, our faith actions we hope to see lead to the outcome of a transformed city and a changed world. That's what we do. So we help influential leaders live out their calling through mission-focused communities by reaching, engaging, and equipping those leaders, who will then launch spiritual movements that will renew every domain of society. That is what leader-led movements is about, and that is what we do.